Legendary Passages, Episode 92, 18th Argonauts, Jason, Part 3, from Euripides Medea. Previously, Medea was left by Jason for the daughter of Creon, and was then banished into exile. In this passage, Jason gives Medea his reasonings, but she wants no help from him. Jason, Part 3, a legendary passage, from Euripides Medea, translated by E.P. Coleridge. Back to their source the holy rivers turn their tide. Order and the universe are being reversed. 'Tis men whose counsels are treacherous, whose oath by heaven is no longer sure. Rumour shall bring a change o'er my life, bringing it into good repute. Honour's dawn is breaking for woman's sex. No more shall the foul tongue of slander fix upon us. The songs of the poets of old shall cease to make our faithlessness their theme. Phoebus, lord of minstrelsy, hath not implanted in our mind the gift of heavenly song, else had I sung unanswering strain to the race of males, for time's long chapter affords many a theme on their sex as well as ours. With mind distraught didst thou thy father's house desert on thy voyage betwixt ocean's twin rocks, and on a foreign strand thou dwellest, thy bed left husbandless, poor lady, and thou an exile from the land, dishonored, persecuted. Gone is the grace that oaths once had. Through all the breadth of Hellas honor is found no more. To heaven hath it sped away. For thee no father's house is open. Woe is thee, to be a haven from the troublous storm, while over thy home is set another queen, the bride that is preferred to thee. As the chorus finishes its song, Jason enters, alone. Medea comes out of the house. It is not now I first remark, but oft ere this, how unruly a pest is a harsh temper. For instance, hast thou but patiently endured the will of thy superiors, mightest have remained here in this land and house. But now for thy idle words thou wilt be banished. Thy words are not to me. Cease not to call Jason basest of men. But for those words thou hast spoken against our rulers, count it all gain that exile is thy only punishment. I ever tried to check the outbursts of the angry monarch, and would have had thee stay, but thou wouldst not forego thy silly rage, always reviling our rulers, and so thou wilt be banished. Yet even after all this I weary not of my good will, but am come with thus much forethought, lady, that thou mayest not be destitute, nor want for aught when, with thy sons, thou art cast out. Many an evil doth exile bring in its train with it. For even though thou hatest me, never will I harbor hard thoughts of thee.
Thou craven villain, for that is the only name my tongue can find for thee, a foul reproach on thy unmanliness. Comest thou to me, thou most hated foe of the gods, of me and all of mankind? 'Tis no proof of courage or hardihood to confront thy friends after injuring them, but worst of all human diseases, loss of shame. Yet hast thou done well to come, for I shall ease my soul by reviling thee, and thou wilt be vexed at my recital. But I will begin at the very beginning. I saved thy life, as every Hellene knows who sailed with thee aboard the good ship Argo, when thou were sent the thame and yoke fire-breathing bulls, and so the deadly tilth. Yea, I slew a dragon which guarded the golden fleece, keeping sleepless watch over it with many a wreathed coil. I raised for thee a beacon of deliverance. Father and home of my free will I left, and came with thee to Iolcus, 'neath Pelion's hills, for my love was stronger than my prudence. Next, I caused the death of Peleus, by a doom most grievous, even by his own children's hand, beguiling them of all of their fear. All of this I have done for thee, thou traitor. Thou hast cast me over, taking thyself another wife, though children have been born to us. Hast thou been childless still, I could have pardoned thy desire for this new union. Gone is now the trust I put in oaths. I cannot even understand whether thou thinkst that the gods of old no longer rule, or that the fresh decrees are now in vogue amongst mankind, for thy conscience must tell thee thou hast not kept faith with me. Ah, poor right hand, which thou dost often grasp. These knees which thou didst embrace, all in vain, I suffered a traitor to touch me. How short of my hopes I am fallen. But come, I will deal with thee as though thou wert my friend. Yet what kindness can I expect from one so base as thee? But yet I will do it, for my questioning will show thee yet more base. Where can I turn now? To my father's house, to my own country, which I for thee deserted to come hither? Or hapless daughters of Peleus? A glad welcome, I trow, would they give me in their home, whose father's death I compassed. My case stands even thus. I am becoming a bitter foe to those of mine own home, and those whom I need never have wronged. I have made my enemies to pleasure thee. Wherefore to reward me for this thou hast made me doubly blessed with the eyes of many wife in Hellas. And in thee I own a peerless trusty lord. Oh, woe is me, if indeed I am to be cast forth an exile from the land, without one friend, one lone woman with her babies forlorn. Yea, a fine reproach to thee in thy bridal hour, that thy children and the wife who saved thy life are beggars and vagabonds. O Zeus, why hast thou granted unto man clear signs to know the shame and gold, while on man's brow no brand is stamped whereby to gauge the villain's heart?
There is something terrible and past all cure when quarrels arise twixt those who are near and dear. Needs must I now, it seems, turn orator, and like a good helmsman on a ship with close-reefed sails, weather that wearisome tongue of thine. Now, I believe, since thou wilt exaggerate thy favours, that to Cypri alone of gods or men I owe the safety of my voyage. Thou hast a subtle wit enough, yet were it a hateful thing for me to say that the love-god constrained thee by his restless shaft to save my life. However, I will not reckon this too nicely. 'Twas kindly done, however thou didst serve me. Yet for my safety hast thou received more than ever thou gavest, as I will show. First, thou dwellest in Hellas, instead of thy barbarian land, and hast learned what justice means and how to live by law, not by the dictates of brute force. And all the Hellenes recognize thy cleverness, and thou hast gained a name. Whereas, if thou hadst dwelt upon the confines of the earth, no tongue had mentioned thee. Give me no gold within my halls, nor skill to sing a fairer strain than ever Orpheus sang, unless there, with my fame to be spread abroad. So much I say to thee about my own toils, for 'twas thou didst challenge me to this retort. As for the taunts thou urgest against my marriage with the princess, I will prove thee first that I am prudent herein, next chastened in my love, and last powerful friend to thee and thy sons. Only hold thy peace. Since I have here withdrawn from Iolcus with many a hopeless trouble at my back, what happier device could I, in exile, frame than marriage with the daughter of the king? 'Tis not because I loathe thee for my wife, the thought that rankles in my heart. 'Tis not because I am smitten with desire for a new bride, nor yet that I am eager to vie with others in begetting many children, for those we have are quite enough, and I do not complain. Nay, 'tis that we, and this is most important, may dwell in comfort, instead of suffering want. For well I know that every whilom friend avoids the poor, and that I might rear my sons as doth benefit my house. Further, that I might be the father of brothers for the children thou hast borne, and raise these to the same high rank, uniting the family in one, to my lasting bliss. Thou indeed hast no more need of children, but me it profits to help my present family by that which is to be. Have I miscarried here? Not even thou wouldst say so unless a rival's charms rankled in thy bosom. No, but you, woman, have such strange ideas, that you think all is well as long as your married life runs smooth. But if some mischance occur to ruffle your love, all that was good and lovely erst you reckon as your foes. Ye, men should have begotten children from some other source, no female race existing. Thus would no evil ever have fallen on mankind.
This speech, O Jason, hast thou with specious art arranged, but yet I think, albeit in speaking I am discreet, that thou hast sinned in the betrayal of thy wife.
No doubt I differ from the mass of men on many points, for to my mind, whoso hath skill to fence with words in an unjust cause, occurs the heaviest penalty. For such is one confident that he can cast a decent veil of words over his injustice, dares to practice it, and yet he is not so very clever at all. So do not thou put forth thy specious pleas and clever words to me now, for one word of mine will lay thee low. Hast thou not had a villain's heart? Thou shouldst have gained my consent, then made this match, instead of hiding it from those who love thee.
Thou wouldst have lent me ready aid, no doubt, in this proposal, if I had told thee of my marriage, seeing that not even now canst thou restrain thy soul's hot fury.
This is not what restrained thee, but thine eyes have turned towards old age, and a foreign wife began to appear a shame to thee.
Be well assured of this, 'twas not for the woman's sake I wedded the king's daughter, my present wife, but, as I have already told thee, I wish to ensure thy safety, to be the father of royal sons bound by blood to my own children, a bulwark to our house.
May that prosperity, whose end is woe, never be mine, nor such wealth as would ever sting my heart.
Change that prayer as I will teach thee, and thou wilt show more wisdom. Never let happiness appear in sorrow's guise, nor, when thy fortune smiles, pretend she frowns.
Mock on, thou hast a place of refuge. I am alone, and exile soon to be.
Thine own free choice this was, blame no one else.
What did I do? Marry, then betray thee?
Against the king thou didst invoke an impious curse.
On thy house too, maybe, I bring the curse.
Know this, I will no further dispute this point with thee, but if thou wilt of my fortune somewhat take for the children or thyself to help thy exile, say on. For I am ready to grant it with an ungrudging hand, yea, and to bend tokens to my friends elsewhere who shall treat thee well. If thou refuse this offer, thou wilt do a foolish deed, but if thou cease from anger, the greater will be thy gain.
I will have naught to do with friends of thine, naught will I receive of thee, offer it not to me, a villain's gifts can bring no blessing.
At least I call the gods to witness, that I am ready in all things to serve thee and thy children. But thou dost scorn my favors, and thrustest thy friends stubbornly away, wherefore thy lot will be more bitter still.
Away, by love for thy young bride entrapped, too long thou lingerest outside her chamber. Go wed, for, if God will, thou shalt have such a marriage as thou would fain refuse.
Jason goes out.
This passage continues next episode, where Medea meets with Aegeus, the father of Theseus,